Have you ever felt like time is speeding up? Not just socially, not just because of technology, but in a deeper, stranger way. As if the very rhythm of the world is tightening, as if the days are collapsing in on themselves. What if that feeling wasn't just personal? What if it was pointing to something real, something cosmic, something ancient? René Guénon, a metaphysician of rare depth, believed that this acceleration of time is no illusion. For him, it's the mark of a world reaching the end of its cycle. And when that end comes, he wrote, time itself devours its own body. In that final instant, it does not vanish into nothing. Time transforms into space. Let's explore what that means. To begin, Guénon challenges our most basic assumptions. We often imagine time as a straight line, empty, neutral, uniform. But in traditional metaphysics, time is not neutral. It is shaped, even qualified, by the cycles of manifestation it serves. In the beginning of a cycle, time flows gently, a wide, spacious unfolding. But as the world descends, as the cycle nears its close, time contracts. It accelerates. And in that contraction, something extraordinary happens. Time begins to consume not just space, not just motion, but itself. In a phrase rich with symbolism, Guénon describes this moment as the devouring of time by time. In Greek mythology, the god Kronos, lord of time, devours his own children. It's a disturbing image, but also deeply revealing. Because time does consume all that lives. It swallows civilizations, memories, works of art, entire ages. But Guénon takes the image one step further. Time, at the end, turns upon itself. It consumes its own motion. It annihilates succession. And what remains is not emptiness, but simultaneity. What was once scattered across centuries is gathered into a single instant, a moment that is no longer temporal, but eternal. Guénon draws upon a striking line from Richard Wagner's Parsifal. Here, time becomes space. In the opera, this phrase marks the entrance into Montsalvat, a sacred realm that transcends ordinary reality, a place outside of duration, a reflection perhaps of the center of the world. In Guénon's reading, this transformation from time into space is not poetic excess, it is a symbolic truth. When time collapses into stillness, when motion ends, we do not fall into chaos. We return to order of a higher kind. To be clear, space here does not mean geometry or distance. It is not the physical space of maps and measurements. It is a metaphysical space, a state of perfect presence, a condition in which all things exist together, without succession, without decay. It is the realm where time has no more authority. Modern physics, curiously, has stumbled onto this reality, albeit without understanding its full implications. Theories of space-time now treat time as a coordinate, a dimension. Sometimes they even speak of imaginary time. And Guénon, always precise, notes something remarkable here. In order for time to be integrated into space, it must first become imaginary. That is, symbolic, abstract, almost unreal. In other words, for time to become space, it must cease to be time. This isn't just math, it's metaphysics. In many ancient traditions, time is seen as a journey away from a sacred center, and history as a long unfolding into complexity, separation, forgetting. But the end of the cycle is also a return. Not a return to the past, but a return to the origin, now made conscious. The sacred center, hidden throughout the ages, re-emerges, not at the edge of the world, but at its heart. This center is described in many ways. The earthly paradise, the heavenly city, the axis where the divine touches the visible. And in Christian tradition, this place is spoken of as the New Jerusalem, a city where death is no more, where light comes not from sun or moon, but from within. It is the state where time ends, because time is no longer needed. It is the realm of pure presence, the dwelling place of the immortal. The New Jerusalem is not merely the end, but fulfillment. It's the world transfigured. It is not built by human hands, but descends from above, as a bride adorned for her bridegroom. It is a city, yes, but also a condition of being, not a point in geography, but the restoration of meaning to all space, not a moment in history, but the crowning of time itself. Its walls do not divide, but give shape to harmony. Each foundation stone bears a name, of tribes and apostles, because nothing is forgotten. What was dispersed is gathered. What was broken is healed. Its gates are never closed, for there is no more night. Light is no longer borrowed from sun or moon, but rises from within, from the presence of the Lamb. This is not a return to what once was, but the revelation of what always was, now made fully known. It is not the erasure of history, but its transfiguration. Pain is not denied, but redeemed. And in that redemption, the soul does not vanish, but becomes what it was always meant to be. St. John of the Cross spoke of this mystery when he said, "In the twilight of life, we will be judged by love alone. And this city is made of love. Love perfected through trial, refined like gold in fire." There is no veil between the divine and the human, no distance, no exile. But neither does the soul lose itself. Rather, it finds itself, not as isolated will, but as a being fully united, without confusion, with the source of its life. The New Jerusalem is not a myth of escape nor a future fantasy. It is the memory of our origin and the whisper of our destiny. It calls to us in every glimpse of beauty that silences the mind, in every act of mercy that transcends logic, in every longing we feel for peace that the world cannot give. And perhaps this is the great paradox. The New Jerusalem is not only the end of the journey, but the voice that has always been calling from within. Not at the edge of the world, but at its center. Not above us, but waiting to descend, when time has reached its fullness, and when the soul is found ready to enter what was prepared from the beginning. So what are we really feeling when we say time is moving too fast? What is this urgency, this disorientation, this strange intensity of the modern world? Maybe it's not just modern life. Maybe it's not just screens and stress. Maybe it's something deeper. Maybe we're hearing the final rhythm of a cycle closing in on itself. Maybe we're sensing dimly the approach of that last instant, that threshold where time becomes space. And if that's true, then the right response isn't panic, it's stillness. Because in that stillness we rediscover what was always near, what was always within, what no amount of time could erase. So the next time the world feels too fast, step back, watch, listen, because perhaps what you're sensing isn't the end of the world, but the beginning of something timeless.